In today's video, I am going to be breaking down Steph Curry and how you can play point guard just like him. Steph Curry is one of the best point guards of all time and also one of the greatest shooters of all time. So if you're a shooting point guard, this is definitely the video for you. Let's get down. Let's check him out really quickly. If you want me to break down your basketball shooting form, make sure to go check out the link down in the description below. I'll be able to break it down and give you different plays, different skills, tips, as well as different workouts that you can incorporate into your game. Let's get down. Let's check out Steph Curry. Okay, so one thing that Steph Curry is very good at is his ability to be able to use screens and then basically get that switch. Once he gets that switch and he's going at a slower defender, he should be able to get past him quite easily. This is how. So there's two ways that you can actually break down a defender. There's the ability to dribble sideways, but also changing your actual height of your dribble and your shoulders. This can really mess with that defender. So here, he gets low and crosses over. He has that negative step, and on that negative step, he is on his toes. Some players will hop into that cross, while others like Steph Curry won't necessarily always hop into that cross to try and catch that defender off guard. They'll be able to push off that back leg, and he tries and usually always succeeds on getting his shoulders below the shoulders of his defender. The other thing he'll do is he will time his attack when his defender is not balanced. Here we can see that the defender's shoulders are well beyond his toes, and that off foot, that foot that's going to be used to push towards the direction that Steph Curry is going in, is off the ground, so it's unable to push to be able to allow that defender to keep up. That gives Steph Curry that half step difference between him and his defender, and then he slightly cuts off that defender. And something else that he does is he uses his off arm on the waist or sometimes on the thigh of that defensive player to keep him behind him. He then, after taking that dribble, takes his 2 steps, keeping that ball high. Watch how high he keeps that ball, well above his head, so that help side defenders can't be smacking it away when it's down on his waist. He then keeps it on the opposite side of the help side defender, and he's able to finish on that right side of the basket. By really going after the waist or that thigh when you're going past your defender, you are basically allowing yourself to stay balanced and continue your motion towards being in front of him, trying to lock him behind you as much as you can. And then if he tries to reach in, you can then lock that arm as we see here, so that now you can get basically right in front of him and take him right out of that play. Keeping that ball up high away from that help side defender, you're going to be able to be very, very successful. So when you're going up against a defender one-on-one, there's a lot of things that you need to look at. Number one is your ability to keep your shoulders lower than his, but also keep him on his heels. This is very, very, very important. So first off, he attacks this right side, and then he hops into his cross. Now he hops into his cross being squared up towards the basket, and he's keeping his shoulders below his defender's shoulders, and he's staying balanced. If he just stood there in this position without a basketball, I bet if you try to push him, it would be very hard to do so. He's staying balanced. This is a lot of core work. From there, after he does that behind the back crossover, he takes a quick jab dribble towards that side. He's still staying balanced. He has his butt pushed out, his shoulders forward, and he has that leg well in front of his shoulders, which allows him to take that step back. And when he does so, he lands still being balanced. He lands with that right foot, the shooting foot, up on its toes so that he can get up into the air much faster. And this is a beautifully balanced shot. Okay, so now in this next play, we're having a pin down screen for the post player. Something that Steph Curry does really well after he passes that ball is once that player gets that ball, he starts moving, trying to get past or at least get into an open spot. So here we see Steph Curry taking a couple of back steps away from that player he passed to try and create space. He's staying on this side so that he can almost try to bait his defender to go and help out with that player. Once his player decides to leave and play help, now he starts moving towards the middle of the court, or at least the fake center line. And from there, we can then see that he catches that ball already looking at that rim. He has an open lane because this player is out of position for reaching in. And from there, he then attacks. But first, when he lands, he keeps his body upright to make it look like he's going to be shooting that shot. That keeps that defender running in that direction in a straight up motion. And then as soon as that happens, as soon as he takes that quick look fake, he attacks the basket. He then stays in front of that defender and goes up for a nice floater. What I'm trying to say here is, even if you're a point guard and you make that pass, don't just stand there, don't just run to the opposite side, whatever it may be. If you're going to run to the opposite side because let's say that's what the play calls for, back up a little bit first just to give yourself some space, and then you can sprint through, keeping your head looking at your player with the ball. However, if your offense doesn't incorporate that, always look to find that open space, wherever that open space is, so that you can get easy baskets like this. So this is really good. There's going to be more and more players who are playing you straight up, which means that they're not trying to force you one way or the other. Especially when you become super good, they're not going to want to force you, because as soon as you start forcing a really good player one way, they're going to really destroy you. So what you can do if a player is playing you straight up is just by basically attacking them on one side. Essentially at this point, get them to the point where they're trying to catch up to you, especially if you're much faster. From here, you can do a quick step back and do almost a shot fake where you just kind of stretch your body up straight like we've seen here, and then attack back in that same direction that he was originally going in and spin around him. This will allow you to get past him really easily, and if you can outstretch for that layup, you'll be in very good condition. So some of the things that Steph Curry does really well is obviously shooting, but he does have very good passing abilities in that screen and roll. Didn't have any highlights from that big game that he had the other day. However, he has that ability to pass in that screen and roll. He has that ability to shoot, but the main thing I really want you to see is his ability to get into the paint using his handles that he has, and then how he has his body set up. That was the idea behind this video. I hope that this video has helped you become a better point guard, especially after you pass, find an opening where you may be able to attack the basket again. And I hope that this can actually help you really succeed at the point guard position. If it has, hit that like button, subscribe, and I'll see you guys again next time.